What if I told you that this powerful gaming PC you're about to see actually costs less than 600 bucks? How much does it cost to build a PC that can run almost everything in 2026? Less than you think. In this video, I'll show you exactly what I bought, how much I paid for each part, and why this combo is the best option. For the price to performance ratio I found, a total of just $550, all included. The main problem, as we all know, RAM prices are through the roof this year. On top of that, the graphics cards that actually perform well are out of reach for most of us. For example, a brand new RTX 5080 will cost you an arm and a leg, and a modern i7 or Ryzen setup with a decent board already puts you in a whole different budget. But what does someone do who wants to build a powerful PC but has a very tight budget? For that, there's an answer not many people consider. Server hardware from a few years ago. Intel Xeon processors from the 2016 to 2018 generation were retired from data centers, and there are tons of that hardware on the secondhand market at ridiculous prices. And the thing is, they perform really well. For example, the Xeon E5-2680 V4 has 14 cores and 28 threads. This processor is roughly equivalent to an i7-10700 in overall performance, and you can find these processors on AliExpress in combos that include an X99 motherboard and 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM at 3200 MHz. And listen closely because honestly, you're not going to believe it. For just $100. With that as the base, the remaining budget can go straight into the GPU. And that is exactly where this specific hardware combo gets really interesting. So what exactly goes into building this $550 gaming PC? Well, let's go through it component by component. Like I said, the X99 board, CPU, and RAM combo, just $100 for an X99 motherboard, like I just mentioned, and 32 gigabytes of DDR4. I don't think there's any new alternative that can even come close to this level of power, especially at that price point. For the case, $30, no extras, no RGB, nothing you don't need. The budget goes where it matters, where you actually get performance, the CPU and GPU. CPU cooler for just $9. Honestly, these chips don't run that hot, so a standard cooler like this one is enough. Also, as you can see, I added 3 120mm case fans, and I got the whole pack for $10. You definitely need to add fans because even though it's a processor that doesn't run too hot, it's still a powerful chip, so you always want to make sure you can install fans to improve airflow. So 3 fans for just $10 is the best thermal investment at this price. For the GPU, it's an RTX 3070. Edition that I bought secondhand for $260. This GPU dropped a lot in price after the 5000 series launched, so for $260 you can play almost every game at 1080p and 1440p without issues. For the power supply, I installed a non-modular 750 watt unit for $53. 750 watts is more than enough for this combo and this GPU. If you want better cable management, you can get a modular one for about $19 more. Something super important, the most important part of this build, is the TPM 2.0 module, which I bought for $9, and I'll explain why. X99 boards don't come with TPM out of the box. So without this, you can't play any game that requires anti-cheat and TPM 2.0. In one of the videos from this series, I'll show you in 5 minutes how to install it and how to configure it. The storage is an SSD, also secondhand, for $23. I recommend that you always test secondhand drives when you buy them. Once you receive it, make sure to test it. You can use Crystal Disk Info, for example, which in minutes tells you whether the drive is in good shape or not. If you prefer a new drive, add about $53 and you can get one. and that brings the total to $550 with a new drive and modular PSU. That total comes out to approximately $570. But at the end of the day, everyone chooses their own budget. Both options are valid. The assembly of this build is covered in one of the series videos. I'll leave the link below in the description. What I'm showing here is that it all goes together without any hassle. It's not a difficult board, there aren't any weird steps. So if you've ever built a PC before, this won't give you any trouble. You already know the parts and how much they cost. Time for the benchmarks. Alright, the first game we're going to test is Valorant. As you can see, it's running at 1440p. Looking at the quality settings, which is currently set to high. And as we can see, 199, 250, 200, 193 frames per second, GPU at 32%. Same for the CPU, pretty stable, just hit 276. But it actually settles somewhere around, now it's much closer to 200 FPS at the moment. So for a first test, the first game, honestly, I think this is truly remarkable and impressive news. Over 200 FPS consistently. Next game, Fortnite, again at 1440p. And the visual graphics are obviously set to high, which are the game's standard default presets that come right out of the box. High, epic, medium. It looks really good. Let's check the FPS. 120, 75, 111, 103. Now it's stabilized a lot more, not dropping below 100 or 70 as much. If we take a look at the performance right now, the system is maintaining a very steady average of approximately 110 frames per second across the board, which is actually some incredibly positive news that we have been waiting to see, especially considering the very affordable price point of this PC. As we can see, it's performing exceptionally well. So let's move on to a heavier game that will surely not perform as well as Fortnite or Valorant, but let's see if it can at least push past 60 FPS. And the game we're talking about is Warzone. We are also running at a resolution of 1440p, and the graphical quality settings, instead of Ultra, are set to high. So let's see how this PC handles this game, which is considerably more demanding and heavier than the other two right now. We're jumping off the helicopter. Hope I don't get killed too fast. 85 FPS. Let's see what happens when we land on the map. 70 frames per second. We've cleared the 60 frames per second barrier. Dropped to 48, 62, 65 FPS. Well, we are consistently surpassing the 60 frames per second mark while running at a 1440p resolution with the graphics settings set to high. 73 FPS, I think that's pretty solid. What do you guys think? For me, given the price of this PC, running this game, that's much heavier than the other two at that frame rate is really impressive. You just saw that this $550 build can handle almost any game in 2026. But there's another question too. If you don't need it for gaming, what other type of user could this serve? This budget PC can also work well for people who use their PC for work, renders, editing, and multitasking, because with 28 threads, it makes even more sense if you edit or render at 1080p. It's going to perform really well. But now, if you want to work on 4K rendering or 4K video editing, adding lots of effects, or even high-end gaming at stunning 4K resolution, I think this build will feel quite slow for you. To wrap things up, if you don't have a big budget, don't want to spend a lot of money, or aren't going to game at 4K, with everything maxed out, without a doubt, honestly, sincerely, this is the best option that you will find available on the market right now, equipped with a dedicated 8GB GPU, compatible with DLSS 4, which gives you a huge advantage in games. In the description, I'll leave the AliExpress links. And remember that if you're interested in the best deals on this platform, by joining my Telegram channel, Argent Ofertas, you'll get instant access to the best prices on tech products from AliExpress. Link in the description. Also, of course, I'll leave links to the previous videos in the series so you can enjoy the whole thing. And with that, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.